Hi everyone, welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with the Aftermath. This is the show that we do after the dust has settled from the post-match instant reaction to Newcastle's most recent game, which happened to be a 4-0 battering of USG in the Champions League, our biggest Champions League away victory and our first one for about 20 odd years as well. I didn't have a lot of time in the post-match, as most of you would have seen when you tuned in, because I was hanging with a cold, which I still am. I'm fighting through that to get this video out, and I had my scran waiting for us downstairs, which I don't have right now, but I thought I'd just jump on and do a quick Aftermath reaction video on this. Now, this is going to be a slightly different Aftermath. Now, it's going to be a bonus Aftermath for a lot of you people, long-term Evermore watchers who do like a rant as well. I'm going to cover the game and the aftermath of the game in the first half, hang around for the second half, because I've got a bit of a rant about fan interactions, which I want to cover, because it's on my chest and I want it off my chest, but I'll come to that in a minute. Let's talk about the game first. So, as I said in the post-match, confidence boosting performance by Newcastle United. It was something that was massively needed. This could have been a huge banana skin for Newcastle. You know, PSV underestimated this lot and they got turned over by them. We didn't do that. We showed up tonight. It was a strong team picked by Eddie Howe, a very strong team. Dan Burn at left back obviously raises some concerns, raises my concerns, but it doesn't matter in a game like this because he wasn't tested, he wasn't ran out by a high quality winger. He will be in the Premier League. That is a concern. I'll come on that a little bit more detail in a second. But why is Dan Burn at left back? For two reasons. One, Team Liverpool was injured for 6 to 8 weeks. Lewis Hall isn't quite match ready yet. As we saw when he come on, he looked a bit rusty. And Malik Chow and Sven Botman look absolutely magnificent together. They really do. They're like fucking ham and cheese or peanut butter and jelly, these two. They just work together perfectly, don't they? Just. I mean, I was saying this in the post-match. Newcastle United were quoted 70 million quid to buy Mark Gahey. This kid, at 20 odd million quid, were paid for, was it 25 million? He looks every inch the player Mark Gahey is. Pace, poise, composure, brilliant positional sense, good in the air, strong, and just reads the game so well. He went to right back and he was fucking marauding down the right wing, whipping crosses in, man. This kid is a quality player. You know, the AC Milan fans were quick to say he was their best defender and they were livid that Newcastle United managed to get him for the cost that they got him from. Milan tried to sell him to Como for a snip of the price. So Newcastle got a hell of a deal there. This kid's a 50, 60 million quid defender by the looks of it, and we've got him for 25. So that's a great bit of business by Newcastle. And the longer those two form that partnership together, the stronger Newcastle's backline is going to be. Because what Malik Chow has that Fabian Schär, God love him, and Dan Burn, God love him still, don't have is pace. Malik Chow has pace on top of everything I've just said there before, and that is something that we lack in that backline, and that's how teams have picked us apart over the last couple of years. That problem is now solved with Malik Chow, and I'm loving it. I'm also loving Sven Botman being fit and staying fit and playing the way we know Botman can. This is the run of games that we needed from Botman. This is Sven Botman back to the Botman best, and we need him to stay that way. We need him to stay free of injury, stay fit. Him and Chow build that relationship together as a centre-back pairing, and we are going to be solid as hell there. Schär and Burn have done a great job, and did a great job before Botman and Chow came in, but you cannot displace those two now as a centre-back pairing. They're so good. Kieran Trippier came and did a good job at right back against a team like that, like I say, where he's able to be Kieran Trippier. He's maybe not getting run out with pace and quality from a Premier League opponent. He's okay in a game like that. I do want Team Liverpool back fit and hopefully keeps fit. And Lewis Hall needs to get himself back to match fitness as well. But for the time being, Dan Burn will be left back in the Premier League as well, starting Sunday against Nottingham Forest. The midfield three, I felt Sandro Tonali was excellent. He was everywhere. He was box to box. Bruno had some nice touches, but was a little bit quieter than you would have hoped. And Joe Linton was maybe even more quieter in a game like that. He's not really imposing himself this season physically, Joe Linton. We know he's not great on the ball. Bar the brace against Bradford, I've not really watched Joe Linton and thought, oh wow, he was excellent in that game. You know, I think this midfield is definitely in an evolutionary stage where maybe Lewis Miley needs to get more game time. His ability to hold the ball, move it, you know, keep control in games where we need to use the ball well when we've got low possession. You know, Jacob Ramsey, get back to fitness, that dynamic running from midfield. The midfield is in a state of flux, I think, in terms of evolution, and hopefully those two players I've just mentioned can add to that and help that midfield become even stronger as the season goes on. But the big take from this game for me was the front three. The first time we've seen that front three together, my God, they click so well. What I loved about this, Nick Voldemort, this is the sharpest he's looked since we signed him. Fit, strong, lovely touches on the ball, loved the flick for the goal. Absolute genius that flick was. It absolutely was 100%. And Gordon and Elanga got close to Voltemada. They got close to him. They ran behind him, and that's what we need to do with this kid. That's how we need to play with this kid. That's how he plays the game. You know, in many ways, he's a much better footballer than Alexander Isak was in terms of his ability to get the ball, drop a shoulder, pick a pass. Some of the passes he was playing last night was magnificent. You know, really, really was. It was Berbatov-esque. That's exactly who he reminds me of. He really, really does. He's not an out-and-out number 9. He's not a number 10. He's like a 9.5. A little bit like what Harry Kane is for a modern-day comparison, but with a bit more mobility. All this bullshit before the game from Bayern Munich with overpaid was nonsense. Absolute nonsense. So for me, I think Voltemada was excellent last night. It really was. The link-up play, the goal was excellent. You know, he wanted the pens. I love that hunger. I love him saying to Gordon, give me the pens. But I also love Gordon going, no, I'm the penalty taker, and smashing 2 great penalties away. That'll do Gordon a world of good. He needs goals. He needs assists. Elanga needs that assist and goal too, but there was a lot of signs of improvement from Anthony Elanga last night. I think you might get a start against his old team to continue that run. We'll do the preview through the week, but excellent performances from Newcastle overall, and just a really professional performance from them, and they got the job done. And it was massive for the lads, it was massive for Eddie Howe, but what we need to do with this, and the title of this video tells you that, there's no point in doing that against USG in the Champions League on Wednesday in Belgium if you can't do it at St James's Park on Sunday against Nottingham Forest. We have to bring this form back to the Premier League, to the domestic football. We had this exact same thing. We beat Bradford comfortably, and then we didn't really turn up against Arsenal. We cannot do that again. We have to bring this momentum back to the Premier League on Sunday against Forest, who aren't great at the minute under Ange Postecoglou. Massive mistake for me. Getting rid of Nuno for Postecoglou. It doesn't look like it's worked at all for Forest. And Forest, this is the best time to play Forest while they're still trying to get their shit together. And maybe they never will under Ange Postecoglou. But this is the best time for us to play Nottingham Forest. And we need to go 4-3-3, foot on the throat, and fucking go for them. None of this 5 at the back nonsense. Playing it steady, respecting teams too much, Eddie Howe. Get right into them and fucking go for that win, because we're a better side than Nottingham Forest. We're better structure. We've got better players all around the pitch. Elliot Anderson in the midfield is phenomenal. He's been brilliant for them. But we need to assert our dominance on this game and get the job done. So bring this USG form back home, Eddie and the lads, please, to do the business in the Premier League and get us up that table. And that's what we're all looking for. We want the performances from Gordon, goals from him and Barnes and Voltemada and Tonali playing well and Elanga. We want all of that to translate back to domestic football, because we need to start seeing dominant performances from this football club, taking the chances and seeing games out too, getting it right at both ends of the pitch, because that's what's going to get us up the table. So that's me done for my game analysis. Very impressed with the performance. I'm going to get on to something I saw that I didn't particularly like, I'll be brutally honest with you. Now, I'm going to start with the good, and this is the good side of fan interactions, certainly with Newcastle United fans. We travel really, really well. We're a great away fan crew. Don't cause any bother, really, and there's always a small minority, but most of the time, Newcastle United fans are excellent when they travel, you know, domestically and in Europe as well. Brilliant scenes there. You'll see from the clips that Mark's going to pull up. My mate Harry De Cosmo, who I often share a microphone with on another platform, who's a great lad. Go check his channel out. He's a brilliant guy. He, you know, took some great footage of Newcastle fans just being, you know, together and enjoying each other's company in a beautiful city in Europe, and in the lead up to the game, and they were great in the crowd as well. The stadium, the atmosphere was great. You could hear the Geordies loud and proud. You know, there was even, you know, other fans from other clubs mingling, you know, with the Newcastle fans in Brussels. And it was all really, really good. But there was something I saw online. I'm not going to name the person who posted it. And I'm not going to name the person it was posted about. But, you know, you can probably connect the dots with who I'm talking about here. So there's a weirdness within our fan base. It isn't just our fan base. It's in society as well. There's a weirdness when it comes to content creators. Now, content creation, whether you like it or not, unless you've been living in a cave and making fire out your 2 fucking sticks, is very much here to stay. It's going nowhere. If anything, it's just going to get bigger and bigger and more prevalent, and more people will do it. There's more people watching YouTube now than there is watching the TV, because there's just bollocks on the TV half the time, and people like opinionated, conversations like I'm giving to you right now on YouTube, and that's why they watch it. You know, I was, before the Arsenal game, I was sitting having a pint waiting for my mates to come up in Bar Loco, and I heard a couple of old fellas there, and they were saying, I don't watch the telly anymore, I watch Toon Review. And you know, you can hear that from fans. You know, they don't want to watch bullshit on the TV, they want to watch YouTube, and that's why YouTubers, you know, get so many subscribers and everything else as well. But there was a post that went out about a young Newcastle United YouTuber. Now listen, he's not everybody's cup of tea, but the way I see it, we're all tuned in or putting our own frequency out there, right? And if you don't like the sound of it, just don't listen or change the fucking station. That's the way I see it, right? Each to their own. You know, if you don't like the content somebody's putting out, then don't bother viewing it, don't bother interacting with it, just leave them to do whatever it is they do, right? There's no reason for you to jump on social media and cause pylons and put photos up of these people doing what they do and what they do for a living as well, by the way. I must say, now this young YouTuber in particular, right? He follows Newcastle United home and away, goes to pretty much every single fucking game. He didn't even have a ticket for this game, but he wanted to go over and enjoy the atmosphere with the fans over in Belgium. And he videoed the fans enjoying beers and enjoying the city, and you know, he interviewed some young fans. It was really wholesome content. It was nice content. There was nothing wrong with it at all. But a certain individual took it upon themselves to put a post on social media calling him weird and slagging him off. And you know, a lot of the comments were people calling him very, you know, derogatory names in the comments. But there was a lot of comments, and fair play to the fans for calling out for what it was. And it's bullying, and there's no need to do it whatsoever. And it's ironic because the very people who often put these things up often cry that they've been victims of bullying as well, but then they'll go and bully somebody else because they don't like the frequency they're putting out. It's absolute bullshit, and it doesn't have any place, not just in a fan base, but in society either. It's bullshit. If you don't like what somebody's doing, that's fine. Don't watch it. Don't engage with it. But don't slag them off. Don't jump on social media and cause pylons on them. It's fucking pathetic, and you need to grow up and get over yourself and just fucking crack on with what it is you're doing and let him crack on with whatever it is he's doing. You know, he's not doing any harm to anybody. He's just recording content because that's what he does for a living. And fair fucks to the guy who's doing it, you know. I'm not naming him. I say you can connect the fucking dots yourself. You're all grown-ups here. You know, he took a big decision to quit, you know, what he was doing to do this full time, and it's working for him. He's got way more subscribers than I have. You know, I don't do this as a main gig. This is a hobby for me, and I've got a job. I'm in the fucking rat race, you know, and you know, is doing content more enjoyable than the rat race? You bet your fucking arse it is, you know, because that's what's enjoyable about it. You're doing what you want to do. You're putting yourself into it, you know. If you're lucky, you become very successful with it, and you can make a living out of it. You can be financially stable from it. You know, you look at people like, you know, the True Geordie, like Mark Goldbridge, you know, they put a lot of work into their content, and it's become a vehicle for an occupation for them, you know, and fair fucks to them, whether you like what they do or not. You know, a lot of people clearly do, hence why they're doing it for a living. But this is just something for me that I don't like seeing in any fan base, least of all Newcastle United's, where you just feel the need to, just for clicks and likes, to try and dig somebody out and try and fucking see you next Tuesday them off on social media because you don't like the frequency they're putting out. It's petty and it's shit. And I just wanted to give my opinion on that on the back of this. You know, I love the fan interaction that Newcastle United fans have en masse, really. You go to pubs before games. You know, I don't go to as many games now as I would like, but you go before the games, and away fans are welcome there. Nobody bothers them. There's a nice vibe in amongst Newcastle fans, whether you're a season ticket holder or whether it's somebody who's just coming for the first time. Nobody makes anybody feel, you know, like they shouldn't be there. But there is a small pocket of fans in our fan base and in all fan bases who just have this weird sense of superiority that you don't belong because they deem it so. And fuck them is what I say. Fuck them all the way to the moon, and fuck them all the way back as well. You keep doing whatever you want to do. If you're creating content and you're enjoying yourself and people are enjoying what you do, you crack on and do it. The people who really enjoy it will give you that love and give you that support and tell you to keep going and tell you to continue on with the content creation. I saw some ridiculous comments saying they've never met a normal YouTuber, but you're not fucking normal. The person who put this out, you're a twat. Somebody goes out of their way to try and make somebody feel bad about what they're doing that's actually being, you know, a success for them and making them a living, you know, a living that they're enjoying doing. Then if you're going to go out your way to fuck that person off, then you're not normal, in my opinion. You are sad, pathetic, and you need to get a fucking life. But I just wanted to get it off my chest because it annoyed me a little bit. And that's me done with it. But overall, Brilliant performance from Newcastle. I want to see the same thing on Sunday. Looking forward to the game. I'll be back with a match preview this week and a post-match analysis. And if you don't like that kind of content, then don't fucking watch it. You know, don't watch YouTube. Go and watch the TV. Go and read a fucking newspaper. Go and look at it online if you don't want to watch a YouTuber talking about football. YouTubers. I hate this overall tagging of people, right? Journalists create content. Craig Hope's a journalist. He creates content. I watch him. It's great content. The Geordie Journals are content creators. They're journalists. People create content. Gary Neville creates fucking content. He's a YouTuber. But you don't see these people getting tagged with the same YouTuber tag. It's absolute bollocks, right? If you don't like what somebody does, don't fucking watch it. If you do like what I watch, by the way, like and subscribe and help get us to the next milestone. But yeah, I'm sick of all these fucking trolls and weapons giving people shit for creating content. Just don't watch it, you knobs, you know, and move on and get a fucking life. But keep it ever more, guys. Like and subscribe. I'll be back with more content soon. I got a little bit more angry than I wanted to do. So that's me done for today. Thanks for watching. Have a belter. See you later.
Heroes celebrate. They have done it.